Yeah, good. You've changed your Twitter avatar?
I have. That's the best way I could probably represent how I feel, and I suppose a lot of Mayo people, every Mayo person, again, a lot of GAA people. That's the best compliment I could pay him.
To Andy Moran?
By putting Andy Moran up as my profile picture.
Today, every Mayo man and woman and monkey is an Andy Moran. Do you like that ad for Tiger Woods?
Yeah, and again, Andy Moran has represented everything that is good about GAA, not just alone Mayo football. And again, there's none of us in the privileged place of winning everything we wanted to and getting the ultimate goal in life, and that's what Andy Moran gave, I suppose, GAA and the Mayo team since 2003. He's given it his all as a person, as a player, and I suppose as a symbol of what GAA in my mind stands for. He was all encompassing, and I have to say, as a young player coming into the panel, I was 8 years in the panel at this stage, so I was kind of an elder statesman, and then you have this young Duracell buddy coming into a dressing room in 2003 and 2004, and you go, is he hyper? Is he delusional? Or is he just what he turned out to be? A constant positive influence, a positive character, and a fine footballer. And I know Andy from the years, and he takes no great personal pleasure of having personal awards or accolades. It's what he did for Mayo, and I think the last 24 hours when you see a guy retire and you see players coming out and saying what an absolute pain he was to mark as a full forward, an inside forward line. You just knew when you got a ball out in midfield that one thing you knew Andy Moran wasn't doing, and that was standing up. His inside movement was absolutely fantastic, and it's a credit to him, it's a credit to his family, it's a credit to his club, Balladream GAA, and it might be the end of Andy Moran as a player, but he will have, without a doubt, a future in Mayo GAA in the years to come.
That's probably part of the longevity behind Andy Moran, David, what you mentioned there, the positivity of the man. It's not just about the fact that he looked after himself so well, it was also the attitude that he had, because I guess being positive as a Mayo footballer who comes so close so often is such an important thing.
Because if we lose that positivity, we might as well give it up altogether. But the one thing Andy showed on is that you can't let 1 year dictate your future. And whether it's 1 year left in the game, or you have, as Andy had, and I played with him in 2004 and 2006, like that's 13 years ago. And still year after year, he came back. And people always ask the question about Mayo and everything else. Does it carry a burden on you? Is it a weight upon your shoulders? Once the new year starts, it's the same for supporters and players. It's not, and especially when Andy had the personal setback of tearing his cruciate ligament, his ACL, which is a major injury in his 30s. What did he do? He came back, and he came back to become the best player in the country in 2017 with his performances, and it just highlights everything that he stands for. And again, it's not personal accolades, but you go. Andy had so much of I suppose a focus on what life is about and perspective, and his family and his young kids. Now he has 2 young kids, and his wife is very much part of his inner circle, and that's what he represented on and off the pitch.
We have 2 pictures, which I know you can't see them, but I can describe them to you. So this is 2006, and the first one is from February. It's in a league game. It must be freezing because everybody's wearing long sleeves and gloves. And Andy Moran has this shock of flowing long locks, almost like an afro. Nathan Murphy has one, funnily enough, whenever he lets his hair grow as well. So maybe it's a Balladreen thing, Ballyhonus, sorry. Obviously, it's a Mayo thing generally. And then in August, we have a picture of him with the shaved head. Was there like a little word said here, listen, if you're going to be up in Croke Park strutting your stuff, you've got to shave the locks?
Well, the whole thing is we always wintered well, whether it was haircuts in Mayo or it was as in taking it easy from a football perspective. But look, at Andy was always the same as the rest of us. The championship haircut was paramount. It was always part of a team dressing room that the championship haircut took precedence over any new boots or any new gear. That it was part and parcel on the Thursday before, or if we trained on the Friday, to who was coming with the new championship haircut. And I'd say if Andy tried to go now into the we all call it the Willie Joe mullet, but I doubt he'd be able to get it to go that wavy now at the minute. One picture that stands out for me, Jar. He was a great man for just a little nod of the shake of the finger. If you see it in 2004, he scored a massive goal for Mayo. 2006, he scored the goal to bring it back into the game. We're 8 points down against Dublin. You can see against Kerry in the semi-final in 2017, the wink of the finger. He just give you a little point of the finger. Goes, that's the stuff. He never really overly celebrated anything, but there was one memory that stands for me from Andy.
This is the breakup of that team, really, isn't it? That's the beginning of it. You'd expect a few more to follow over the next couple of weeks and months.
So look, every team breaks up. Every player has his day. Every player has his innings, and no matter what way you look at it, you're going off. The greats of Mayo football, the best players of Mayo football, the backbone of Mayo teams have retired and went off to pastures new, but it's never really diminished or taken away from what it is that it's a new year, you have a new team, and you look forward to what you have, and you can say, you know what, Kieran MacDonald retired with Brady in 2006, that was the end of that bunch. But sure, the man says there's a new bunch ready to carry that torch. No matter what age they are or what calibre they are, they'll step up, and I'm sure there's a lot of players that will step up and step into Andy Moran's boots, and anyone that has been with him or played with him or been in a dressing room with him can only take the lessons that he has showed them, and that's to carry themselves in the way he carried himself, and to play in the way he played, and try and continue to bring that ultimate goal home to Mayo football. But in a GAA context, he was the ultimate professional.
David, it's a love letter to Andy Moran this morning. Thanks very much for sharing it with us.
A pleasure, Jar. See you on.
David Brady giving us some thoughts there on the retirement of Andy Moran. One last point on this. That team breaking up isn't actually a sign that Mayo are going to go away from being the third or fourth best team in the country. The younger players who are coming through still look like they're going to add something new that the team hasn't had. They're not just facsimiles of the players who are going out. And I think that the team needs to be considered a new team, so that they're not carrying the baggage of the last number of years. And that's how this works. When himself and Kieran MacDonald did go, that was the end of that team, and a new team had to come, and that was the team that Andy Moran led, and that ultimately was the Aidan O'Shea team. And now next year it's going to be Aidan O'Shea and a fully fit Cillian O'Connor and a fully fit Diarmuid O'Connor for the whole season, you hope, and we'll see what happens. Yeah,
it is already, we need to talk about that, a huge improvement if they manage to keep all those players fit. But sometimes you need to go through a little bit of a heartbreak like this, saying goodbye to a legend of the county, for you to actually take a step forward.
And I think 3 or 4 more of them will do, and it'll be regeneration, and hopefully James Horn sticks around to oversee that as well.